Ball first and 10 at the 12-yard line of the Seahawks. Sean goes right, has a cutback lane, and he does. He's across the 20, the 25, 30, 35, 40. Here he goes. Are they going to catch him? 40, 35, 30. Touchdown, Seahawks! 12, they're bringing the trophy home. Your Seahawks, Super Bowl 48 champions. Holy catfish! Baldwin's going to throw back to Russell. He's got it! Touchdown! Seahawks! Are you kidding me?
Let's Hawk It Out with your hosts Kevin Porter and Rich Harris.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Let's Hawk It Out. As always, Kevin Porter, Rich Harris. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Rich, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. We had a stressful and roller coaster of a ride there, but I'm happy that we got the win so that we can continue to go and stay with the pack on this because the 49ers won as well. So I think it's a good day. Struggle bus a little bit, there, but man, good that we pulled it out.
Ah, man. I mean, I just wanted a good game yesterday, Rich. I mean, going into Sunday, I was like, okay, I hope the Washington Commanders can come into Seattle and compete with the Seattle Seahawks, which, for all intents and purposes, they did. But, thankfully, though, your Seattle Seahawks did come out on top, 29-26, in what seemed to be a battle of the field goals there early on in the game. But during that fourth quarter, man, both teams really erupted, and it was quite the finish, that's for sure.
Yeah, they really battled it out, and they turned out to be a really good matchup. So, awesome that you were at that game as well, because anytime you go to a game, the first game we went to, that Rams game, was just the most somberest game you could ever go to. If somberest is a word.
Well, I'll definitely say that first touchdown that the Commanders scored, I mean, it definitely let the breath, the air out of the building, dude. I mean, like, everybody was pretty much like, oh, 3 plays later, the Commanders already scored. I was like, I guess it's going to be one of those games. And I looked over at my buddy, and I was just like, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game. Like, yeah, we're going to rebound off this.
And didn't we go like a 3-and-out on our first series or something too? So it was like, here they come firing away, and we were
Well, they missed that field goal too. They missed the extra point, so it was like 6. And then we eventually got 3, and then it was on from there.
Yeah. And then of course we've got Gino with his struggles. As you said, the guy behind you was cheering for Gino at times, and then yelling and bitching about him.
Yeah, this kid, one moment, anytime Gino does something good, he's like, his biggest cheerleader. But then, obviously going into the half, whatever that was, everybody was a little up in arms. But yeah, this guy behind us, he was flip flopping, that's for sure.
Yeah. And I think most of us are starting to do that a little bit, but a lot of us aren't saying it out loud, because again, us optimists like you and I are like, hey, we just got to trust in John and Pete, and they see something more, or maybe Gino's just struggling a little. But then when you see it game after game after game, then you start going, is there going to be a change needed? We've been talking about it more and more. And, I don't know if that's the answer, but at the same time, it's not like you're taking Russell Wilson out, this notorious starter that's the starter, and putting in another guy. When we're struggling, you got a guy that's almost as equal as the next guy. I think those two are probably fairly equal in their what they could bring to the table. So it's almost like, let's just see something new. Remember, we always talk about the other teams that are throwing in a different guy, and then they throw in that different guy or the backup guy, and he does way better than the guy that was in there just for, he's the starter,
Well, look at that Josh Dobbs guy going into the Viking into Minnesota, dude, to take it over for Cousins. That's like tearing it up, and he, we beat him like the week before, but nonetheless, I mean, you see that when the change does occur, it can definitely, it can be a match to dynamite, man. That's for sure.
Yeah, and that's the guy mostly I was thinking about, is that Dobbs. What a success story. And he's starting out really, really well and showing what he's made of. He got traded, and then, he was, I think the Cardinals played us.
He was the quarterback, yeah.
Yeah.
He was the quarterback when he played the Cardinals.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden he got traded a week later or something, and then he was playing for Minnesota, and he's balling. That dude's balling out. And
he straight up is.
Who knows if Drew Lock can't ball out, or we got that Brett Ripien that we just brought in. Now, I don't know what they see in him. He's the nephew of Mark Ripien. He's on the practice squad, so they did sign a third quarterback.
I didn't see that.
I don't know if that's just to push the other two or just to have another guy just in case. But either way, Geno's needs to straighten up, or we need to try something different. because it may work and it may be better. And just what one of my drinking buddies at the bar said, well, it ain't like it's baseball. It's not like they put him in and they can't, take him out and can't put him back in. I said, that's a good point. That's a very good point. If you put somebody in and you think he sucked that bad that you got to put the other guy that you put him in for back in, well, you can do it if you need to, but it's not baseball.
Plug and play, baby. Plug and play.
That's right. Like a USB connector.
I was gonna say, yeah, let's definitely talk about Geno right off the top here, because I'll say it right off the top here, dude. Sitting in the stadium, not looking at stats or anything like that, not having the benefit of the television or anything, the broadcast, I didn't realize that he threw for a career record yesterday, Rich. It didn't really seem like that, because again, it kind of seemed like more par for the course in terms of him coming out there, having a lot of 3 and outs, not really doing much, and then all of a sudden, bam, having these big, huge plays come up here and there, and doing just enough, obviously, to win the game, which ultimately, when you step back and you're like, well, what matters more efficient play throughout 4 quarters, or us winning the game in the 4th quarter at the last minute, ultimately bettering our record to 6-3, which again, you look at that 6-3 and it's like, are we really a 6-3 team with Geno Smith as the quarterback? I mean, I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell from week to week.
Yeah, I know. And we got to give credit to that defense for keeping us in there, because they do say that defenses win ball games. There's a lot of other teams out there that have great defense. The Jets comes to mind. They have a great defense, but their offense, when they get their time, they sputter. And that's still how we are. And it's not all to blame on Geno. I'm just saying that Geno could be sharper. And at the end of the day, he did pull it off. And I had no idea how many yards he had. It didn't seem like a record of any sort. It just seemed like he finally just started finding a way to do it. But there was a lot of times where he threw the ball that should have been an interception, and either it just went right through the guy's hands or whatever. So he still got the decision-making issues. And then the one time when he went and threw the ball, we were texting on that one, where we were going and we were driving to get those 3 points before the half. And so we could go up before the half and then get the ball back. I remember this clearly now. And we were driving down, and then he gets, and rather than tucking the ball in and taking the hit, he tries to throw it, and he gets an intentional grounding. They run off 10 seconds, and we go into
that was it.
Locker room.
Everybody in the crowd was just amazed. Like, what?
Yeah.
Halftime? Just like that?
And that was all his decision right there. So again, I'm not trying to be too hard on him, but I'm just trying to point out facts. And that one, he took those 3 points away from us, in my opinion, and my unprofessional opinion. But I think it's
nah, you're pretty professional, Rich. Don't sell yourself too short there, buddy. I was gonna say, I mean, seeing it from within the stadium, I was at, in those seats, man. It's like you get that visual perspective to see who's open, where you're able to just see the whole entire game. And dude, and I don't know if it was around that time frame, right around before going into the half, there was a chance that he had to get DK in the end zone, dude. He was pretty much wide open, dude. And like you said, dude, he's not going through his progressions, and you can see that. You can see the defense sees that. And again, we're seeing it week in, week out. And yeah, we got by the Commanders, but dude, is this going to hold up? When we play the Philadelphia Eagles, I mean, we saw San Francisco stomp out Jacksonville yesterday. That was their get-right game. I mean, are we going to be able to go into Thanksgiving? And is Geno Smith? I remember the primetime game we had against the San Francisco 49ers last year, and that definitely was not pretty, Rich. And I mean, are we going to see more of that in the weeks to come? I really hope not, but right. It is something we got to question, though.
We got to be sharp. We got to sharpen some areas up, and quarterback is definitely one of them, for sure. I mean, otherwise, on the offense, everybody else, the ball was spread around a lot. It seemed like I seen Disley more involved than normal, which is good. Noah Fant was involved. Lockett, Jackson Smith and Jigba's getting more involved. DK, kudos to DK for the last few games of keeping his head straight. And it seems like he's focusing now that, and not really getting too involved in the skirmishes and stuff, and realizing that he just needs to be out there and be ready and reliable to produce. And also, I agree with you, that one, he was wide open, and I'm surprised he didn't throw a fit on that one. Throw me the fucking ball, or whatever.
Right.
Once in a while, and especially when it matters. So, yeah, I mean, if we're going to sustain or we're going to stay with the pack, like I keep saying, quarterback's going to have to improve one way or the other.
Yeah, and DK really, I think he really deserves a lot of praise for yesterday. I mean, like he may not be getting every single catch or whatever. But man, when it counts, I mean, he's definitely making those plays. Because obviously, we had the 4th and 1, and we got the the pass interference call on him. And, whether or not, that was pass interference, not pass interference, that's to be determined. But the refs gave it to us, and, it allowed us to get down the field to, instead of having to go to overtime, we were able to win the game in the last seconds, which was what you always want. You never want to go to overtime. So yeah, DK definitely needs to get a lot of praise. I mean, Geno hit 9 different receivers yesterday, and it's actually, as I look at the comparisons, I mean, the Redskins, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They actually hit 11 different receivers. So it was like, both quarterbacks were getting around yesterday, which, our defense, obviously coming off that Ravens game and, allowing so many points within that game. I think they did, obviously the score, it was very tight. But, we did hold the Commanders to, a series of field goals there, obviously in the end giving away some touchdowns. But, it was, man, I mean, I think if we want to switch over to the defense just real quick, I mean, Mafe, he broke the record yesterday, right? Seven sacks within 7 games? Is that the record?
Games. Yeah, I believe that's what it was. And he's not a rookie anymore, so it wasn't necessarily for a rookie. I don't know, was that a Seahawks record or an NFL wide record?
Yeah, that's a great question, and off the top of my head, I can't necessarily answer. I just know that it was a record breaking sack that he had yesterday, which again, like I'm up at the stands, I'm like, that's 53, bro. That's 53. Like, we got him, dude. He got it. So,
yeah, I remember the announcers on TV saying something about it that, if he was going to get another sack, I think they said that as the game was starting, that he had so many consecutive games with a sack, and that if he had another one, that he would set some sort of a record. I think it was a Seahawks record, maybe.
It may have been just a Seahawks record, but dude, I mean, dude, 7 sacks, and I mean, you hear Pete Carroll talk about him, dude. And the difference between season 1 and season 2, dude, it's just like he gets it, dude. He's coming in and he's playing hard, dude. And just a little bit of a, our boy Jamal, dude, our boy Jamal Adams. I mean, he has all these. He gets in there, man. He's there at like in every single play. It feels like, but dude, he's still flying. He's throwing himself around, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And just the way he carries himself and walks around, he's all big shoulders all the time. Big shoulders.
Yeah.
And I'm tough.
Small
I'm
man
tough.
in a big league.
But his animation has to show I'm a tough guy. I'm a tough guy, man. Look at me. I'm tough.
Yeah.
He just bleeds ego, and man, I hate
that
it.
Touchdown, that first touchdown the Commanders got. I mean, that was blown coverage on him, dude. That was all on him from what I saw on the replay.
Yeah, and he's had his moments as well where he's coming in and showing what he's made of, or what he could be made of, or what he used to be made of. I don't know what to call it anymore, but I don't know. I just hope that he stays healthy and not uninjured, or not get injured, and that he sharpens his game as he goes and shows us what he's made of or what his potential is. That's how I want to see Jamal Adams anymore. Otherwise, I don't expect much.
I definitely think he's an asset to the team, and like I definitely want to see him healthy and playing. It's just you see some of his like tackles. It's just like, again, he's not using his like he's just using. I don't know how to necessarily describe it. It's just like I don't know. He's not completing the play, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, and like you can really see it.
The one you're talking about is where it was a stunt blitz. So he leaves his position as a strong safety and blitzes, and he got right through. Did he make the tackle?
Nope.
No. He just brushed the guy with his arm. Hey, how you doing? The guy dumps it off to the other guy, and he takes off and gets some yardage. You're right.
Exactly.
I know exactly which one you're talking about. So it was a designed play. He executed the first part, 1 of 2, and 2 of 2, to close the deal. He didn't close the deal. That's all. Just focus, center. When you got through that line, your focus, man, is like a laser, and you're just centered on that quarterback.
Exactly.
If you get through that line, you're getting that quarterback. He couldn't get the goddamn quarterback because he was going too fast.
And that's not the first game that he's done that. That's the thing. It's like we've seen him do that time and time again throughout the season. Like it's a continuous pattern.
Yeah, flamboyance or whatever. I think that's the best word for it. He's just way too overzealous is another good word for it. He should have had more calculation as he broke down after he got through that line. Then he should have, like I said, broke down and then just wham, get that guy. and he just went and patted him and said, "Hey, how you doing?" So embarrassing.
Yeah,
so embarrassing.
It was very embarrassing. But outside of him, though, I mean, like I think our defense did play very well yesterday. I mean, I think Witherspoon, he had a pretty big play yesterday, if I remember right. I don't know if he got the fumble recovery or caused the fumble, or was that Woolen? I can't remember, but I seem to remember they both had good games.
They did, and the announcers were commenting one of them, and then they in fact, Witherspoon, he's the greatest rookie. It was a great choice for fifth round, fifth pick, first round. And then next thing you know, Woolen had a really solid play. They're like, can't forget about this guy as well. He had a great rookie year, and he's still having a good year. Started out injured, but so yeah, man, talk about a tandem on the outside. It's great. Everybody, the defense looks great. So going back to it, how are we 6-3? A lot of it, I think, is to do with our defense keeping us in the ball games. But we still are imbalanced. We're still very imbalanced. And if we want to stay with the pack, I think our offense needs to answer when the defense has kept us in the game. Then our offense needs to go back in there and answer and do their part.
Well, I think and then you look at our offense, I think we failed on like 3 really, I mean, because again, like obviously we won the game. Okay. So like in the key moments where it really mattered, yes, our offense executed and they won. But if you look at our initial drive, like, we, it was like, it wasn't anything, and then like coming out of the half, we got the ball back. We didn't do shit. And then when we got the fumble recovery, we didn't do shit with it. Again, we're not capitalizing on the opportunities that are in front of us. And like, I don't know, I look at the way that Geno throws the ball. It's like a lot of the times it's play action, and he does the drop down to the right, to the wide receiver on the right. It's like boom, boom. Then they run for a shit ton of yards. Like it worked yesterday, but like, why aren't we going down the field? Well, it's just like that's not part of it. It's like they don't game plan for that. It looks like.
Yeah, I don't know. And I guess we're not really looking at the offensive coordinator and the types of plays that are being called. I thought the way they started out yesterday with those little short passes to JSN, that's what they need to utilize somebody like him for, is just get the ball in his hands. But
I gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I don't know if it's some of the decision making of the offensive calls and Geno combined. I do know that Geno is not as accurate as he's been as well. So I don't know. There's a lot of cleaning up that needs to happen, and it's hard to point fingers.
Sure.
But when you're seeing the same things week after week, it's worth noting, I think.
Yeah, because that's not something new I saw yesterday in person. That was definitely something I've seen on TV. It's just a lot of dink and dunks, which again, like you have to, like, I'm not saying you don't call those plays because you need those plays. You have to have a well-balanced offense, obviously, But at the same time, like when the opportunity is there for us to go downfield, it's like he's not committing to it, or he's just, like you said, his accuracy isn't allowing him to complete the pass down the field, or it's like it's either too high or too low. It's like his accuracy, I think, is really a valid thing that we do need to like address. Like it's not as good as what it was, like it seems like at least.
No.
At least it's not.
It's not as good as what it was. And I think another reason why we were able to pull it out too is because our run game was really solid. So we did have those multi-dimensions that you need to be able to, like you said, throw around a bunch of different mixture of plays so that the defense doesn't know exactly what's coming next. Just like when they send Lockett deep or something and he almost caught it, but didn't, then that's going to keep them honest, because then they're going to understand that, that play might work again in the near future. So they're going to have to protect against it. So that opens up the field a little bit more, things like that. So, but yeah, at the end of the day, I think the running game was good. I think Charbonnet and Walker complemented each other well in there. And that helped keep us in the game so we could just grind away and get some of that time of possession into our own and get some points in. It was a struggle. It was definitely a struggle. It was stressful. I can't imagine what it was like being there at the game with all the back and forth there.
I kind of had, like, I don't know, man. For some reason, in the back of my head, I felt like we were going to pull it off. I was like, this is just going to be a tight, very tight game. When the Commanders scored it, like, kind of in near the end of the end of the fourth quarter there, and we had to make that drive. I was a little like, okay, maybe we're going to overtime tonight. Like, okay, maybe we don't win this game. I don't know, but like, it was definitely just a very like fun game to watch, though, in person. Definitely, dude. Like that's what you hope for when you go to a live game, right? You either hope for the Seahawks blowout, we blow them out of the water, or it's a very competitive game back and forth, and ultimately at the end the Seahawks win, which is what happened yesterday. So
yeah, those are the best ones. Like the Browns.
Yeah.
We were at the Browns the week before the home game that the home game before. I think it was 2 weeks before, but
It was.
yeah. I mean, it was the same type of a game. It was back and forth and excitement, and then all of a sudden the outcome was that we won it there at the end. So those are the best kind.
Exactly, Rich. Exactly. Well, I mean, I don't really got too much else to really say outside of Lumen Field does it right, dude. The Seahawks do it right. That live person experience. Honestly, I was talking to my buddy yesterday. And I was like, I haven't been to any other NFL stadium, but like, I would like to think that the Seahawks experience is by far one of the best in the league, for sure.
Yeah. Well, we did. Remember, we got last year. Was it this year earlier or off season that we got voted the best stadium by USA Today, or was that in our?
I think so. Yeah, that was just this off
I know
season.
we mentioned it at one point. Yeah. So I mean, and at the end of the day, that's the entire experience, and not just the loudest stadium like we're known for to be one of the loudest.
It's
stadiums.
super loud in there, dude. Your ears are deafening, dude. They're ringing at the end.
Yeah, I mean, even tonight, while we're on that subject, Mahomes was on the little Manning cast for the Monday Night Football. I was watching that one. In fact, it's still on. I'll probably go back out there and watch it just to have that alternative cast.
I like that cast, yeah.
Yeah, and they had Patrick Mahomes. They flipped him in there on the side in the middle between the two, and they were asking him a bunch of questions. And one of them was talking about the soft counts and the silent counts and stuff. And he said he only has to use the silent counts in the Seahawks and Ravens stadiums.
Wow.
He says he only practices to use silent counts when he's playing those two teams at their stadiums.
I remember last time. Yeah, I remember the last time Patrick, the Chiefs came into Lumen Field there, and that was a good game, dude. We ended up winning that game, luckily.
Yeah,
if I remember right. But,
well, we got two tough ones coming up with that home, the Eagles and the 49ers. So otherwise we'll hit the Rams, and I don't have much more to say as well, except for we need to keep going. We need to sharpen up, and we need to stay with the pack.
Well, like you said, dude, coming up here this next week, we got the Los Angeles Rams. So again, we're on the road, which, dude, historically the Rams always play as tough in their own stadium, dude. So hopefully we can give them a bit of a receipt after that week 1 loss. And we can keep making ourselves right as we head into Thanksgiving. Because again, December is not going to get any easier, dude. We got, again, two big games, San Francisco 49ers, and we definitely also have, we're on the road against the Cowboys next month, and same with the Eagles coming to town, dude. Like, it's not going to get easier.
No, we got our work cut out for us either way you look at it. So we got to sharpen up. Really got to sharpen up.
There it is, buddy.
That's it.
All right, dude. Well, for Kevin Porter, for Rich Harris, I'm Kevin Porter. We'll see you guys next time.
All right.
Can you win a game in the first quarter? No! Can you win a game in the second quarter? No! Can you win a game in the third quarter?